Hi, I'm Steve Saunders. Thanks for joining us here for another edition of Around Town, where we connect you to events and organizations in the town of Wethersfield. Earlier here in the Channel 14 studio, I had the opportunity to talk with folks from Loretta's Dream. It's a nonprofit organization that continues the legacy of Loretta Nakos Pemble, who died of breast cancer back in 2005 at the age of 34. Loretta grew up in Wethersfield and left a lasting mark on her family, friends, and the community as a whole. The organization is trying to raise money to build a pavilion at Millwoods Park in Wethersfield. Here's the interview. Tonight we're welcoming in representatives from Loretta's Dream, and we have George Nakos here. We also have Barb Bellis and Mike Buonopane. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I'd like to talk about what Loretta's Dream is and how it is in the town of Wethersfield and how it came together. So first things first, what is Loretta's Dream?
Well, Loretta's Dream is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was developed about 3 years ago in 2009 when the class of 1989 that Loretta and Mike were graduates of had their 20th reunion, and of course Loretta was not there. So at that time we met with Mike and some of the classmates, and we decided that we should have something built in her memory. And at first we had other ideas of doing a water playground, but then we decided something more simple, and therefore we decided to go to a pavilion that will be built in Millwoods Park in Wethersfield, and it will be donated to the town of Wethersfield for the residents of the town to use for recreational purposes.
Now, George, you're Loretta's dad. Can you describe Loretta and who she was? And
well, like any parent, I guess we're biased to think that our kids are the best, but Loretta was a very special person. And I got to know a lot more about Loretta after she passed. Loretta was a very gentle, very kind person, that she was involved in all kind of activities, sports activities. Especially at Wethersfield High School, she was part of the swimming team and the diving team, and she was participating in many activities. I think she was kind to everybody, and she would not be shy to tell people, including us, the parents, if we did or say something wrong. Mm-hmm. Her idea was, Dad, Mom, you shouldn't say that. That's not right. You shouldn't do that. So rather than us parents trying to tell the kids, she was kind of implying to us that the truth is the best thing to do, and that we should always do the right thing.
Sure, sure. Mike, you went to school with Loretta. What was your experience there, high school?
That's correct. I grew up with Loretta since second grade, and we went through elementary school and junior high and high school together, and we met up again in college at UConn, and so I grew up with her my whole life. And what George says is true. She was a very kind person. She would always remind people to take the right path, and I think for that reason her voice continues to ring within us. We continue to be reminded by her spirit of things that we shouldn't do sometimes in life when we're tempted. And I think for me, that's the greatest impact Loretta's had on me.
Sure. So how did Loretta's Dream formulate, and how did that all come together here in Wethersfield?
Once the 20th reunion occurred, which I was not a part of, there was a group of people who got together for a dedication for a couple of folks that had passed from that graduating class. And from there, myself, the family, and some graduating friends of Loretta's got together and started this 501c3. Mm-hmm. As far as my relationship with Loretta, I met her the last year or so of her life. She moved back to Connecticut to be with her family and to get treatment here in the Northeast from Atlanta. And she had contacted me. I was the membership chairperson for Wethersfield Junior Women's Club. And with everything going on in her life, getting treatment for cancer, she still wanted to give back. And she contacted me to be a part of our organization that helped folks in the town of Wethersfield. We found out through our first conversation that we had a lot in common. We're both the type who want to give back to our community. We both had boys that were less than 2 years old, and we both went to the same church. So for the last year or so of Loretta's life, her and I led parallel lives, and I feel very fortunate for that.
Wow, excellent. She sounds like a dream, actually,
Yeah.
you know, definitely. So the hinge of Loretta's dream is building a pavilion in Millwoods Park in Wethersfield. How did you come up with the idea of you know, a pavilion in that park?
Do you want me to take that one, and
Sure.
we can all elaborate? It was very clear to us that we had to do something that involved the outdoors, given her spirit, the fact that she was a landscape architect, and the fact that she was very active. And one of her requests to her parents before she passed was to do something that her family and friends would remember her by. So putting that all together, it only made sense to incorporate something for the town of Wethersfield that friends and family could gather and be outdoors.
Mm-hmm. And so that kind of represents what she wanted, in a sense.
If I can add to it,
Sure.
We were told, and we found out after she passed, that she had left a note to us, that she had left us some mini tapes to myself and my wife, to her child and husband, and also to her two brothers. And in those mini tapes, she was thanking us for the kind of life that we gave her when she was alive. And as Barbara said, she was asking us to do something that her friends and relatives remember her by. And that being her last wish, we felt as parents that we were really obliged to do her last wish. And at first we thought we were going to do a water playground, but that was a little bit too bulky in terms of maintenance from the town standpoint. It required a lot of chlorination and pumping, etc. So we thought that we can go something a lot simpler. And since she was an outdoors kind of a person with landscaping and all that, we thought that perhaps the next best thing to do that will also soften the environment within the park, is to have a pavilion.
Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of where we're at now. Anything like that costs money, and so as far as raising money for something like this, do we know how much it would cost to put something in the park like this? Or?
Yeah, we do have some preliminary estimates that they cost around $60,000 to $80,000. But these are actually preliminary. We have not really finalized the final design. But the town was kind enough to give us the space that the pavilion is going to be located. And primarily it's going to be used for the purposes of having picnics, and especially with the kids that they have sports there after baseball games or soccer games, etc. Normally the parents will have some cookouts so that the kids can join them afterwards.
Now you've raised some money already, is that?
Yes, I think we have raised to date around $22,000, $23,000. But we're planning some fundraisers that I guess Barbara and Mike can talk about that we have not really collected, all of those proceeds yet.
Sure, and one of the major fundraisers is this walkathon that's going to be happening this month, actually.
Correct. On Sunday, September 16th at Wethersfield High School Track, we will be hosting a walkathon. We want to make it very flexible so as many people can attend as possible. We know there's soccer schedules, football schedules, church, a lot of things going on Sunday morning. So we're asking people to join us anytime between 9 a.m. and noon. They can walk a mile on the track, or if they'd like to go longer, they can walk through Winter Green Woods. They'll start on the track and go through the woods and come back. We are putting flyers and pledge forms in all of the schools' backpacks, all grammar and junior high kids. there's a choice. The kids can solicit their neighbors, friends, family to sponsor them for the walk, or if it's easier, people can just give a flat amount. We just want people to show up, have a good time, and give to our organization. So we're really looking forward to this.
Sure. And as far as the donations that have already come in, I'm sure that that's very encouraging to be at the point where you are now as well.
Yes, I think they are. We did send letters to the business owners within the Wethersfield area, and also to some, of course, friends and relatives, and they just started coming in now. So we have not obviously totaled everything yet, but we hope that it's going to be a good return.
Very good.
So between the businesses and the walkers, we're expecting this to be a successful event.
Sure. I'm curious, how is the event going to raise the money? Do you have to pay to attend, or how does that work?
Basically, it's similar to a 5K or any type of run. Mm-hmm. You pay to walk.
Okay.
So you can do it two ways. You can show up with your pledge sheet with your friends and family's donations, and if you choose not to do that, you can show up and write a check of any amount.
Okay.
Also, many of the local businesses in Wethersfield, they are donating their in-kind services. So there are some construction companies, like the Wethersfield Construction and the General Paving, that they are proposing to do the excavation and the concrete pouring and all that. So it doesn't really mean that everybody has to donate a monetary value. It's a matter that if there are people that they would like to give their in-kind services, like these two companies are, they're welcome to do it, and they are doing it. And of course, a lot of other companies are donating monies that we have received their checks, and we're totaling the amounts. And what we intend to do is we intend to prepare T-shirts for the workers, for the school kids. And in the front we may have Loretta's picture, but on the back of it we intend to put all the logos and the names of all the sponsors that are donating money. So if it is the Bank of America or Battiston's or General Paving or whatever, their names are going to occur in the back of the T-shirts.
I wanted to ask, there's something cool that I read about Sterling Jewelers on Silas Dean. What did they do for this?
A couple of us from the Loretta's Dream organization came up with the idea of creating a bead. One side of the bead has Loretta's Dream, and it's a breast cancer angel. So it has the breast cancer ribbon with wings. That's one side of the bead, and the other side of the bead is the Wethersfield onion. And it's intended to go on Pandora bracelets, although it doesn't have to. Other people wear the bead on a necklace. And Don Onion of Sterling Jewelers has been so gracious. He charged us minimal, his cost, and allowing us to make a greater profit on the beads. So that's continuous. That was kind of our opening fundraiser for people to get to know us, but we continue to sell them, and we'll make them available at our fundraisers.
Sure. Let's see. As far as your involvement with the organization, how has the response been from the public as far as coming together and supporting Loretta's Dream?
Well, I'll answer that. I think that what we're starting to see now, this is really our first major fundraiser, apart from some things we've done with Sterling Jewelers and some other small projects. But what's really sort of an eye-opener is the outpouring of affection and assistance that we're getting this early on in the game. We have companies out in Fairfield County with no connection to the family, no interest in the advertising incentives that we've been offering them with this walkathon, who have been contributing substantially just by mere mention of the project and what we're all about. And so we hope that we continue to get that response with future fundraisers, and we hope that the the citizens of the town of Wethersfield will feel the same way about the project if, for no other reason, the fact that this pavilion is going to be a wonderful resource for them to share with their families, and it will be there for many years to come.
And if we could we talk about how the pavilion at the park could be used? I think we touched on it earlier, but maybe again, you know, how it would be used to kind of continue Loretta's legacy. In a sense.
In so many ways. Because there's a baseball field right there in Millwoods, we all foresee teams being able to meet there afterwards, whether it's a casual meeting, they can have sports award ceremonies, pizza parties, the nature center's close by, they can do programs there. We could also have birthday parties, family events, and also just casual seating for the people enjoying the park.
Sure.
And that's going to be very close to the bocce court. So actually people that do participate there, they may also utilize the pavilion for picnics or for get-togethers, as Barbara says.
Sure. Very good. Well, if, you know, individuals in town or in the surrounding area, if they wanted to get involved, how would they be able to either get involved with the organization or even donate and participate in the walkathon?
Okay. I can speak to the walkathon specifically. If anyone's interested in volunteering that day or donating in kind or money to the organization, they can contact me at 860-257-3560, or they can contact George
at 860-529-2939. But we also have a website that they can go to, and the website is, I think, what is it, Loretta's?
It's Loretta's-dream.org, and that will include our P.O. box, so if you're more comfortable sending a check, the P.O. box is on our website.
Sure. Very good. Anything else you want to add to the show? I don't know if you can talk more about Loretta. I know that you already, you know, we touched on that earlier, but, you know, it just sounds like this project is really something that would just encompass who she was. And I just wanted to touch on that one more time, maybe.
Sure. One of the major side benefits of being a part of this organization has been for me is being able to meet great people. Mike and I didn't know each other, and I didn't know a lot of these committee members because they graduated with Loretta and I didn't. I've gotten to know George and his family much better. And also it's provided an opportunity for me to continue my outreach to a lot of folks in town, and I'm always amazed at how gracious and giving everyone is. So I feel all of that is just a wonderful memory and honor in Loretta's name.
Sure.
Yeah. One of the wonderful things about a project like this, and I think we've seen it already in the town of Wethersfield with Mikey's project with the playground. We've seen it with the Keene Foundation that has done amazing things, that it not only is a tribute to the family to honor the memory of a loved one, but it also has become essentially a major resource in this town for providing you know, services and entertainment and just gatherings for families to get together. I think before we had these kinds of projects, and I'll use the Keene Foundation again as an example, you didn't have some of the activities that are occurring in this town now. And we hope to contribute in a small way for the park and encouraging people to come out there and utilize that facility more. And I think it's going to be great for everybody. And I think if there are more people out there that have similar ideas in terms of projects they would like to see in the town of Wethersfield to honor loved ones, I think it's become a great way to honor those families and to honor the town and all the people in the town. So we do encourage everybody in Wethersfield to get involved because in the end it does benefit us all and our children as well.
Sure.
And I'd also like to add that Kathy Bagley, the director of the Parks and Recreations, as well as Martin Sittler, have been very, very kind and very helping us to try to make a decision as to where the area is going to be, etc. So I would really like to express our gratitude to both of them and to the town council, because they did approve the concept of having the pavilion in there.
That's right.
So
we can't say enough about the willingness of the town to support us on this project. Kathy and Marty and all the members of the town council have been so gracious in accepting the project and allowing us to do what we need to do to make it become a reality. It has really been very impressive to me on how they've responded to our request for this.
Sure. Very good. And one last number, the amount that you're trying to raise going forward from here, because we already have some funds raised, but what's the amount, what's the goal from this point going forward?
well, if the difference is between, say, the 22, 23, and the 60, then of course we are hoping that we'll be able to catch that point. But if not, then obviously this being Loretta's last wish to us, we as an Nakos family feel obligated that we definitely have to go ahead and see that this project comes to a full construction no matter what. So whether we do get this whole amount or not, I think we have promised to Loretta that we're gonna have to do that.
Sure.
So about anywhere between 40 and 60 more, depending on the final quote.
Okay. Very good. Well, what an awesome project, for real, you know, and I think it really will help Loretta live on, in a sense, with her legacy there, you know.
That's our hope.
I just wanted to say, Steve, that one of the things that we are really looking for at this time, in addition to funds and in-kind services, is more members to join our organization. I think we're going to be more effective in numbers, and we are really reaching out to the public at this stage of the game to invite them to join us. We usually meet about once a month, or as necessary. The time commitment is not overly substantial, and I think it's a great cause.
We're looking to have one more major fundraiser after our walkathon, and we're hoping for early 2003 to have some type of dinner in town. And
2013.
2013,
Okay,
excuse me.
yeah.
Yep. So that'll come quick. So if there's folks out there who want to assist in another fundraiser, that would be great.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And if you'd like to donate to Loretta's Dream, you can go to their website for more information. That's lorettas-dream.org. Thanks for joining us here for another edition of Around Town. I'm Steve Saunders.